Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Extra Time TV. This is Andres Sooklal, and I hope you all are keeping yourselves safe during this awful COVID-19 pandemic. We are trying really hard to keep content coming and doing our quarantine episodes for everyone at home so you can take a look and see what's happening in Trinidad Tobago football. And lots of things are still happening internationally and locally. And for those of you who don't know, we are from the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. So when this thing is over, you all can come by and visit and enjoy the beaches. And I'm not alone today. Once again, I have another guest, the assistant coach to the Trinidad and Tobago men's futsal team, Paul Decle. How are you today?
Fine, thank you, Andre.
Paul, so it sounds, I don't have to repeat what's been said on the news. We know what's happening. It's a very unfortunate situation we're living in where, this global pandemic has caused a lot of changes to lifestyles, not just in sports, but everywhere else. And it has raised some interesting challenges for people like yourself who are directly involved in coaching. In your case, with your academy and the national team. We spoke to other coaches, but the innovative nature of this is what is, drawing us to this particular conversation. So I'm understanding that you are also using technology to get your work done. So elaborate a little more on this for us.
Sure. Obviously, this thing kind of came out of our preparations for the Futsal CONCACAF Championships in Guatemala, out of which it also doubled up as a World Cup qualifier for Lithuania, which was carded for September this year, the FIFA Futsal World Cup. So after the suspension of training, the consideration of how we would try to keep some form of momentum in our programs was a major challenge for us. One of the times where we can use, and one of the advantages this time when you look at the use of technology, especially in our field, the challenge is finding that balance of interacting with players and the incorporation of the technology in that. The current circumstances, obviously the safety of the technical staff and the players was a priority for us. And the first instinct would be, is our technical staff okay? That was an easy one because the technical staff is a much smaller group. And, prior to that, prior to the programs being suspended, we had just released into the media a 47-man player pool, out of which we would have selected our final squad. So we had all the resources in terms of the minds that could come together with our head coach, the assistant coaches, the trainer, and a good technical team. And the engagement of technology then helped facilitate, first of all, ensuring that the players were safe with their families, that they were healthy. Once that was established, our next priority again was to reactivate some form of physical training with them, because we had, at the point when we were suspended, started to step into another level of preparation with them, which involved a lot of strength endurance, a lot of cardio work, and the intensity of that was beginning to increase. So obviously we cannot replicate that level at home because now our timeline is not guaranteed. We are just sitting in the middle of this thing trying to keep active. So yeah, the use of technology in this case helped us to communicate with the players for some personal training at home. We've been sending out a lot of technical and tactical stuff specific to futsal, specific to systems of play that we envision would be suitable to Trinidad and our players, and to us being competitive, and giving us the best chance of getting to a World Cup. So that's kind of where we are at now. If you want to discuss very briefly that, someone may ask, what about the World Cup? The futsal championships for CONCACAF, the probabilities are quite high. It's just 3 wins and you're in. It's not like the longer form of the game where, it takes 2 years of qualifications and then a final group and you keep advancing. This is just one shot, 3 games you win and you're in. So we were very excited, very optimistic of our chances, and we patiently now await further notification from CONCACAF as to the rescheduling of the event.
Life after the COVID intervention, for lack of a better expression, but a lot of people don't know the kind of work that you guys were putting in before this took place. A lot of communication was taking place, reaching out to players. You mentioned the player pool. It's unprecedented, the openness and freedom of information that was given. Players felt like they could have had conversations with the coaches, and it doesn't mean they would get caps, but now they felt that they were having a fair chance rather than, as James Saunders and I were talking about this for years. We were from different parts of the island. I'm from the south end. James is from the East Coast area, Moruga and so on. And basically, it always felt as if it was a boys' club. And as a young player, I was exposed to it as well. The national team felt like, whatever level, futsal, football, whatever, felt like worlds away. Like it was something that was too far away, and accessibility to information was very hard. And I know, because I was one of those guys looking for information. It was very difficult. Sometimes you would try to call directly. Usually the protocol is call, and it was hard. But there was a noticeable change with the futsal setup and also the men's senior team, where the communication level was so fresh and new that even there was skepticism from players because they were so not used to that. So kudos to you guys for not waiting for the COVID virus for this to happen. This just changed the approach slightly, but a lot of people don't know that you guys were doing this before. And I know the time frame to prepare for the tournament was actually pretty short, but the amount of work that was done, I came a couple times, it was quite impressive. So do you think, with the timeline not being known for this COVID virus thing, which is very unfortunate, this is looking at it from a glass half full perspective. Do you think that it serves the national pool well in terms of educating them on the intricacies of futsal?
Yeah, sure. Just to touch on what you said there briefly, what we did was something quite unique. Conducting, from as early as the first week in February, 6 island-wide screenings across Trinidad and Tobago, where we saw in excess of close to 300 players come through, those screenings, as well as visiting a few of the TNT Pro League games. So it was quite a wide range of players. Obviously, with futsal, the differences in the sport would require us to maybe have a wider view of the player pool, because there were specific qualities, player DNAs that we were looking for to suit the way that we thought we needed to put the team together. So it was very planned, and yes, it was an open forum where players felt very comfortable coming in to try out. I'm sure a lot of them may not have had high expectations, but they did express their gratitude for being allowed into that national setup and having a chance just to be out there and playing the game as well. So inclusion is important, and it builds awareness. Futsal is not a maybe well-known sport in this part of the region, and we do play a lot of indoor, a lot of court-type games with the smaller goals, but actually coaching the game in its unique way and playing within, the specific parameters with the correct equipment and stuff is something that's new. And from that aspect, it was very successful, The players that came through there, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, were very happy and excited of what was going on. So we did do a lot of groundwork building up to when we started to get the players in for the official training sessions, and then started to include a lot of the TT Pro League players. So quite a dynamic approach, and one that was very fulfilling, not only for the players, but the coaching staff worked really hard to pull this off.
Just a reminder, everyone, for more episodes, be sure to head over to our YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more updates, interviews, and content.